It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight is going to be a little bit of a summary video talking a little bit about what I've been up to, which leads me up to where we're going. So the end of this video, we're going to talk a little bit about how I think I'm going to do operations on this layout. I've been doing some drawings, changing things up. So I think it's going to be good. I think I've got a good plan of attack. It's just now about executing it, and we'll get to that in a little bit. First, let's check in, see who's here. If you haven't made a comment in a while, say hello in the chat. That way it'll kind of refresh and I'll see the names pop up in my little special list on the side that I read off. I notice Wigwag's not here. We didn't get the countdown tonight, so we'll all have to figure out when the show starts on our own and go from here. Barry, I have actually seen that. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be too thick. The car float that I'm using and what I designed everything from is this thin, and I don't know that one is going to fit with my setup or not. But I did see it. It's definitely a really cool item. Let's start at the top of the list. We've got Anthony Dodge, the Model Train Outsider, followed by RD0, Os America, Model Railroading. The two of those together are nothing but trouble. You can see him Saturday night. We got Mr. Barry Olson, Bernard C. is in the house, Cameron from Caboose 121, Cascade Southern Model Trains, Mike's in the house. We got Anthony from Georgia Sunbelt, Joe Rader in the Black Rock Central. Now we're going to list, there's only two Johns today. John Benicki and John are here in the house. And of course, John Train BFGR just drops in after I just said there's only two Johns here. We got Dwight from the Curly Express, Lauren Hurwitz is here, Lynn McCurdy in the High Desert Modular Model Railroad Club. We got Manny Fernandez, Alan from Mason-Dixon Railroad, Andrew from Mr. Bigtoven, Mark from My Life's Tracks, Norm Miller's in the house, Mike the Rail Artist, Roger Coleman's here, Ron Moen, Ron Montague at SW Railroad, Roy Eltham's here, John from Schuylkill River Valley. We got Thomas, Split Rock, Jason, the Train Freak, Tim D, Trackside Mike, Pappy from Trigoglin, and last but not least today is John from Wimble Train. Thanks everyone for being here. Let's just jump right into it, why don't we? First thing I want to mention, I talked about it on Tuesday, and I decided I need to do a little more edited videos. It helps when you cut stuff down a little bit to be able to then, get it out there to more people, because people will watch a 10-15 minute video. They won't watch a hour-long video sometimes. So I spent a little bit of time and I edited or re-edited my first operations experience video. Say a quick thank you to Mr. Andrew Pictovid contributing to the Humanity Fund $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. My first op session, it was just fantastic. I edited it down into, I think it ended up being 15 minutes and 30 seconds. It was actually funny, as I was editing the video, while I do hate hearing my own voice, it was actually sort of fun, like hearing me talk, like it got me re-excited about it. I don't know, like all this operations stuff has just really changed things for me, and I kind of had a fun time. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. John has posted up the link for us. Mr. McTovid saying Wigwag is here. Wigwag, you gotta get here early if you want me to say hello. We missed the countdown tonight. I don't know how I'm going to do a show without the Wigwag countdown. That's just, I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I'm going to try and start editing out more things out of the live stream, things that I think were valuable information, just so people can find it. For example, I really want to pull out the conversation about Broadway Limited and CV 217, because I know a lot of people don't know about it, and it's a very helpful thing to do. So if you've been around on Discord, you've probably heard me talk about it about 6,000 times, but I am working on the NMRA Achievement Program, what's it called? Model Railroad Engineer Electrical. And I've been putting together a lot of work. I've got a whole page up on my website about it. And I had the opportunity on Friday to join the Twin Cities Division's weekly Friday live stream. And there were two master model railroaders on there. One that is the AP chair for their division, the Twin Cities Division. And Ken Zeska was also on there, who's about to go for his electrical as well. And it was a fun show. Those guys in the Twin City Division are great. They've got the Crossing Gate podcast, and got a bunch of other, stuff going on out there. So something else to check out is the Twin Cities Division Friday night stream that I was on. And yeah, check it out. Enjoy it. Have fun. Yeah, and I put together the webpage because I thought it would be helpful for people in the future to be able to look back at the information. One of the things that I found when I was doing my own research is I couldn't find a lot of examples. And, mine is just one example, but yeah. Mike the Rail Artist, member of the Twin Cities Division. Good group of guys out there. Jason the Train Freak concurring, operations are fun, with a $5 super chat. I agree. Couldn't agree more. It's just a good time. It's just a good time. That's for sure. we're going to keep moving on. Tonight is not like an unboxing. Tonight, we're just going to go through, I've got a long list of things. I'm just going through them one at a time, lickety split, taking them off, one at a time, multiple times. I just realized what's missing on this show. I apologize. I was delinquent. Let's see if this is going to open or not. I don't know where it's not opening. Oh, come on. Why isn't it opening? I'm trying to get the little pop-up thing in the corner to open, or to start up, but doesn't seem to want to open. Hopefully it'll open. Hopefully it'll inspire people. Makes me happy. It makes me fun. It's fun for me. I don't know if it's fun for anybody else, but I'm having a good time. Let's see. Where are we at? Where are we at? Operations is painful. It can be painful, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Oh, I didn't know that. Mike did the newsletter and the website and was the resident president. There you go. People saying hello to Mr. Hot Dog. Lowell, you're distracted by somebody marking fit. No, I'm not watching you in Discord. We have been lately in Discord, we get in the voice channel and we share our screens, and we've been sitting there working on AnyRail stuff and helping each other out and just talking through some AnyRail problems and various things. So that's been really fun on the Discord channel. Discord links down in the bottom if you want to join that craziness a little bit. But yeah. Oh, I see what Artie means. Artie's talking about the operation that he had, not model railroad operations. I get it. I get it. The bot count's always wrong. Yeah, the bot. Hopefully the bot's usually close. Sometimes he's one off, but yeah. If enough people hit the thumbs up, it'll all work out in the wash. Next thing, because we're moving forward tonight. The next thing is my Peninsula car float. I'm actually going to switch cameras and kind of turn around. I guess it was kind of temporarily, but kind of permanently. Well, it's temporary. I attached the car float. I put a nail on this end of it, and then I put a nail on this end, and then glued it down to get this in place. And so when I lower it down, it doesn't go anywhere. I've got these screws you can kind of make out if you look underneath here. I've got these screws in place, and those screws are so that I can adjust the height of particularly this end of it. I've got screws on both ends so I could adjust them as needed, but I didn't want to make this permanent, because if I do decide to change the car float, or if something changes with this car float that I had, I want to be able to, adjust that. Another thing that I did, you can kind of make out, I put car weights inside the car float here. And the reason that I did that is twofold. One of the reasons is it adds weight to the front of it, so that, let's see, if we look at this one, I think you can see here how it hangs over the edge of this shelf. It's actually longer than the shelf. So adding the weight in the front allows it to kind of stay in place, because now it's nose heavy. But the other thing that it does is I'm going to add some neodymium magnets, round magnets. They'll screw down. I will recess them into the surface here, so that when I slide the car float up with a bunch of cars on it, the neodymium magnets will hold the car float into place, and then hopefully I'll be able to get cars on and off the car float without too much trouble. So just a lot of this comes from being inspired from the operations side of things, and just wanting to keep pushing forward to make this layout as operationally sound as possible. Franks wants to know how many times I've bumped into the Peninsula. Not as many as you would think. I usually put the Peninsula down whenever I'm in here doing other stuff, just so I don't bump into it, and it's only really up when I'm working on it or when I'm running trains. So when my focus is on the Peninsula, it's up. When my focus is not on the Peninsula, I just swing it down out of the way. Just makes my life much easier, I will say that. So that's the Peninsula. There are a couple more things I do need to get done with the Peninsula. I've got a little relay module right here that I got from I got off Amazon, and what I am going to do with this, I can't even get it open. It's just a little circuit board. There we go. It's just a little circuit board. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to hook up, let's go back over here. I'm going to hook up a, let me actually flip this up. Sorry for the moving, but. So when I fold this down, this little tab here hits this switch and it shuts off the track power. What I'm also going to do is, when this folds down, I'm going to set up a tortoise switch motor that is going to come up through a hole in this track. So it'll stick up through this track so that you can't drive trains off of it. So it'll be, this track will be dead, as well as there'll be a mechanical pin that'll pop up. And I want to make it automatic. I don't want to rely on, manually having to remember to raise and lower it. So the idea is I'm going to take some magnetic reed switches, which are the same kind of switches that you see like on opening doors or opening windows, where like when the two magnets touch, it's okay, and then the two magnets for like alarm systems and stuff like that. And I'll set that up. I think it's probably going to end up being like right here. So when this flips down, the magnets will separate, and that'll then drive the turnout motor up, up through the track, so nothing can run past it. So that's another sort of thing. I'm collecting parts. I'm getting, let's see, I actually just realized here, I forgot I had brought this stuff up. Here are the weights that I used on the car float. Here are the neodymium magnets that I got. I got circle ones because I figured circle ones will be easier to drill into recess because drill bits are circular. Let's see. Anthony says, instead of making it digital automatic, could you do a non-manual analog stop? I've thought about that for a long time. I'm waiting. There should be a second one. Here we go. Like a pin wire that goes up through the hole from the bottom of the baseboard as it goes down. We talked about that a lot, and there was a lot of conversation about just making it mechanical where, when this went down, it would just sort of push something up on the other side. The reason I'm not doing that is just that there's a lot of other stuff under here, and at the end of the day, it's going to just be easier to just put the turnout motor and have it, come up through it. The reality is if the layout is off and the turnout motor isn't energized to go up, then it doesn't really matter because the layout's off. If the layout's on, then there'll be power, so the motor, will be able to push up the pin and stop it if it's down. So I feel like it's a pretty safe sort of setup. I've also thought about getting like a little guy with a little red light or something that I can stick on it or whatnot, but I think I'll probably be okay. I'm hoping. We'll see. Here is the double pole, double throw switch that I'm using. You can see the wiring diagram they show. This is a double pull, double throw, so it's you have normally open and normally close, so that I can control both the open and the close of the motor. Yes, nothing is safe, especially when you're around me. That is for sure. These are the magnetic reed switches that I'm using. These are the shortest ones that I could find, being 27 millimeters, so they're slightly over an inch, and that kind of that's going to work for me. And they have 3 wires that come off of them. You can see 3 wires, so you can set them to be normally open or normally closed. So I'm going to do that. That in combination with the relay module, I'll have enough options to make things work. I'll do this as a video or something, or we'll talk about it more when it's working, so that we can do that. Yeah, I know, Lynn. I'm actually staying on track for a change, right? We'll see. I'm sure I'll get off track eventually. This will be short-lived. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah, exactly, Artie. Exactly. This is the turnout motor that I decided to go with. It's DCC Concepts Cobalt. It's the Cobalt IP analog turnout. Let me make this a little bit bigger. The reason I went with this one is DCC Concepts makes an analog turnout motor that is completely analog. It's their original one. It's called the Omega Analog or something like that. And it's a stall motor, so it'll work, right? You can feed it 12 volts and it'll be fine with the 12 volts on. What's nice about this guy, though, is when you feed it 12 volts and it gets to its far side, the IP part of it means that there is circuitry inside of it that shuts off the motor when it gets to the end. So it'll draw power as it's moving, but once it gets to the end, I'll still have 12 volts going to it, but it'll shut itself off. So I thought that was a really good option for this application. I'm looking at using the Cobalt turnouts from DCC Concepts, but the digital IP ones for other turnouts on here. So this is a little bit my first try at these turnout motors, and we'll see how they go. It looks like Rick from Mr. Foltz Bailey uses them as well. Yes, John from Schuylkill River Valley does do a fantastic job posting up the links. It's always absolutely always really helpful as well. Fred Wild says, always good to have a failsafe. When a signal is dark, the red, if the gel has no power, it also displays the red. Exactly. So to have that, even if the power is off to that track, which it will be, to have a mechanical stop, I think will just be, will be valuable. So we talked a little bit about Iron Planet Hobbies, which is where I buy 99% of my model railroad stuff. Ryan's also a sponsor of the channel. I love their service and support. They get stuff shipped out very quickly. PTF flats, which are back there. I'm talking to him about making some more flats to help with the operational scheme of the layout, which I'm looking forward to. Bernard at Mini Prints. We all know, we all love, go get your mini-me's from Bernard. But I do also need to thank everybody that are members of the channel, either here or on Patreon. Call everybody the model citizens. It's just sort of fun, but I do need to make sure I thank everyone for their support.
It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. all about humanity.
One last little piece of business before we move on to the next on-topic item for tonight. Well, I guess this is on topic too. Next week's Sidetrack Sunday, we're going to do a holiday show. We're all going to come on Ray's channel. So head over to Ray's channel next week. My guess is there'll be a little bit of chaos. If you have not seen any of our holiday shows, they're probably worth going back and seeing. But yes, next week will be a kind of a special end of year show over on Ray's channel, and it's going to be interesting. I think as long as Ray doesn't try and do any contests with the little spinny wheel thing, I think we'll probably be okay. I'm a little nervous about what costume Rick may come up with on for the show. Rick's also working on the giveaway cars. It's first time Rick doing any decal removing and applying. So maybe if we're lucky, Rick will post a video of him licking and sticking this thing. All right, a couple people are, Rick's costume arrived today. Yeah, so I'll just say it. The title's 100% clickbait. It's, everybody's doing it, so I figured I should do it too. This is the last Sunday show on my channel. I'll be on the holiday show next week, but yeah, this is my last Sidetrack Sunday for 2022 on my channel. So yeah, it was just a clickbait. I know. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I did it for the likes, I did it. I did it for the fame. I did it for the fortune. Anyway, got through that business. The next point of order is, if you've noticed, and you maybe didn't notice because it was zoomed out a bit, but I know. Now all the thumbs downs are coming instead of the thumbs up. I know. Yeah. But arbitrary contest, yeah. See, Anthony gets it. Anthony gets it. Oh, sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it. I just had to. So I was zoomed out a little bit ago, but I had two items on my bench that you may have seen while I was showing this, and this leads us to the next item. We're actually not doing an unboxing. These are already open. These are already open. I don't know that there's any way to get the bot to do something for a thumbs down. I'm not really sure. But yeah. So one of the things for my layout, we'll talk about this a little more when we get to the operation scheme, but the layout is called Riverside Transfer. I do have a logo for the Riverside Transfer, and John from Schoolgirl River Valley, I forgot to put this link in there, but if you look up pdc.ca, you'll see I'm working with a gentleman named Bill over at PDC Decals, which I don't know what it stands for, but it's PDC up in Canada. Bernard from Mini Prince uses him. John Farrington, RailServe John 2618 uses them, and they really love their decals. So I'm going to get some Riverside Transfer decals, and I am going to do up this GP30 and this transfer caboose in some Riverside transfer colors. And I'm doing that because I think it's going to be really awesome to have some Riverside transfer stuff on the layout. I do actually come, I do, sorry, I was reading comments and trying to talk at the same time, not working. Randall, don't worry, this will not be Burlington Northern very long. I will have this thing stripped down sooner than you know it. Yes, I'm gonna do a full repaint on these, so I'll strip them down to nothing and then repaint them. I have this GP30. I also have coming 2 Alco S2 switchers. So I'll have 2 switchers and a GP30 that'll be Riverside transfer painted. But yeah, I guess I'm reading Joey's comment again. I guess I could do it as a patch over, especially on the Burlington Northern, because it's already green, so I could technically do that. But I do think I want to just strip it down to nothing and just make it do that. Yeah. So John, this caboose. This transfer caboose is the Fox Valley models one. The Bluford ones, the Bluford Hobbies ones are the ones that are $40. And I can't find mine. I do have a Bluford Hobbies ones. They look slightly different. They're a little bit bigger, a little bit more ornate. For the Riverside transfer, I wanted one that looks a little bit more simplistic, and you know, we'll go like we'll do that. Sparky, the good news about YouTube videos is you can go back to the beginning, watch it again, and get all of the appropriate information. So Tim from CP368 Productions wants to know, are we sure that's an actual GP30 and not a former GP30 built into a GP30V? If you want to look it up, it's road number 2246. And all it says here is GP30, so I don't know if it's one of the ones that were rebuilt. So the other reason I should mention is that, yeah, oof, the Bluford ones are sexy as can be. Is that it there? No, that's my Bluford Hobbies. Yeah, Bluford stuff is just stunning. But for my purposes, this Fox Valley is exactly what I need. Part of the reason I'm getting these locomotives is because these are with ESU decoders. And all of the switchers that are back here on my layout are actually all BLI switchers. And the one thing that BLI switchers don't have is they don't have a brake function on them. ESU, Soundtracks, TCS, I believe, all have brake functions. And the reason I want the brake function is for this guy here. So the point of this GP30 and the 2 other Alco S2s is they'll all be set up to run on the proto throttle. So this will be Riverside transfer. Everything Riverside transfer essentially will be set up to run off the proto throttles. And I just thought that'd be a fun way to do it. Heath, look at Discord. Why am I looking at Discord? Oh, is that the Bluford Hobbies one? Yeah, this is the Bluford Hobbies one. You can see it's a little bit, it's a little longer than the Fox Valley one. The Fox Valley one's just a real short one. But yeah, the Bluford ones are nice. This Fox Valley one, don't get me wrong, this Fox Valley one's got a lot of detail as well. The road number is a GP30 Jason. Jason the Train Freak, are you still here? Oh, there we go. It depends if Atlas modeled as a GP30 or if they're modeled after the rebuild. Yeah. So Jason the Train Freak knows and is well aware ESU makes the best decoders. So that's what I'm going with. And if you don't know, it's kind of an inside joke, and it's not worth investigating, but it's just sort of an inside joke that I had to throw out there for Jason. That's all. I'll be friendly. I'll be nice. I won't get into it too much. No links for that one. Yeah, actually, yeah, I don't have a link. The Fox Valley model, if you want to look this up, it's FVM 91155 is this particular one. So Fox Valley model 91155 is the one that I'm going to modify, just so people know. We'll talk about that in a second, Edward. If you hold that question, and we'll ask it again in a little bit if I forget, and we'll get there. This will be, so I have got, if you watch some of my short videos lately, I've got some SD70 Aces, but I don't have any just sort of general purpose locomotive. So this GP, I think, is going to be a great locomotive for pulling things out of the yard and bringing them like to other areas that like aren't. So the SD70 Aces will take things that are going off the layout into staging, but this GP30 will take things from one area of the layout to the other, particularly in the Riverside transfer area. So yeah, Jason and I'll go duke it out later. We'll go into the we'll go out to the parking lot where our friends are hurt, and we will we'll throw insults at each other like my dad can beat up your dad and all that sort of ridiculous nonsense. So if you don't know, because you're not on Discord, Joey has adopted a little bit of a nickname over on Discord. So when Joey says that he recommends you go buy a locomotive, be very careful. What are these CVs for? Are these to set up the braking, Ken? I don't know if I missed another comment. If that's not insults, that's bragging. That's too funny. So I'm sure at this point everybody's asking, what color green is the Riverside Transfer? You've all seen the Riverside Transfer logo. If you haven't seen the Riverside Transfer logo, you need to head right on over to my website and go get yourself a mug or something that's got the Riverside Transfer logo on it. So that's the green. That's the green. It's all the same green. But here's the problem. What green is that in paint, I tell you? So I've got four Tamiya greens here in the mail, on their way. I've got 4 Army Painter greens. I've got 2 True Scale Color greens. I've got an 8-color pack from Scale 75, which is a modeling. They do like Warhammer type paint stuff. So I will have a smattering of green colors to choose from, and hopefully I will be able to find one that's pretty darn close to that. That is not, I see a couple of people mentioning Brunswick green. That logo is not Brunswick green. It's much darker than the Brunswick green. It's a little different. It probably is a little closer to Pullman green. That is probably true. I am having a really hard time matching this though. I'm going to bring something up. Let me, just so you guys can see just how like insane I am about this. It's Heath green. Exactly. Exactly. I believe I have the blue and green Tamiya makes that I think a 50-50 would make your green or at least close. I'll test that out. That'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Absolutely. Green and yellow is the best. Let me see if I can find it somewhere. Where, does anyone know where I put it? Yes, I put it up here. This again, it's just to show you that I am, I've completely lost my mind. So the green that I've chosen is based on a hexadecimal color. So I put that hexadecimal color in here, and then I went and I tried to find the hexadecimal colors of all of the Tamiya paints and of, so here's some of the Army other paints and stuff. So I'm trying to find something that's pretty close to this. And none of these so far have been close. So I'm working on it. I'm working on it. And you know, what I'm trying to essentially do is find a green paint color that is repeatable. So it's not about it being a perfect match for my logo and everything. It's about being a pretty close match that, like, somebody else that wants to paint something Riverside Transfer, or somebody else that wants to paint something you know, close or whatever, I can say this is, you know, this is the color green. Go out, you know, find this, it'll get you pretty close. So there's been a lot of insanity over here lately. There's been a lot of thinking going on, a lot of blue smoke over here, a lot of things coming out of my brain. I don't know. Tim says, why is it everyone seems to like green for locomotives? My freelance is going to be green. I originally chose green. Yeah, it's right. Exactly. It's prime for grime Riverside Transfer green. So I did check. Apparently the closest color is a Humbrol color. British Racing Green is supposedly the closest, but I don't know. I don't know if that's actually correct or not. So I haven't looked at specifically Pantone colors because you can't really buy Pantone colors in paint. So it's all. The reason my logo originally went with green is because when I was thinking of my channel name and Humanity Junction, I wanted humanity to be very grounded in the earth, and I wanted the green earth, not the brown earth. And if you look at the color, it's kind of a greenish bluish tint, so it's got a little bit of the sort of water-ish in it as well. Yeah, and I know I could get the paint matched if I wanted to. I'm really just hoping that one of these paint colors is going to be close enough, and then I can tell everybody, hey, like, go out, you know, paint yourself a Riverside Transfer logo. Here's a, you know, here's a decal sheet. You know, I'll buy a couple extra decal sheets and give out some decal sheets, and I will, I'll tell you what the color is. You paint up your logo, put the white decals on it, and you too can have your own Riverside Transfer switcher. But that brings us, I mean, what is all this about? This is all about what this whole conversation started tonight about, was operations. And that's where this conversation tonight is going to end. And it's not going to end now, because I'm going to get into all of the operations, all the operations stuff. So I did an operations video a little while ago with the switch list app. And I've been going back and forth as to whether I want to use the switch list app or whether I want to use JMRI. So there's this guy that thinks ESU decoders are the best decoders in the world. And he put out a whole series of videos. I think there's, 8 videos here. Mr. Jason the Train Freak has a whole series on JMRI operations. So I sat down last night and I started going through all these videos. And I'm kind of thinking, I like some things complicated. I like some things easy. Now that I'm getting a little more understanding of operations, now that I've gotten 1 operation sessions under my belt, I think I kind of understand operations enough that I might just go right to JMRI and not use switch list, just because of JMRI allows more flexibility, right? And I think because of what I'm planning to do, that I'm going to appreciate that flexibility. Already, we started there. We're going to end there. My model railroading world has become all about operations. It's become all about the Riverside transfer. It's become all about just, having fun. Just having fun. Anthony, that it's probably true. I think what's happened a little bit though too is it's gotten just harder. It's gotten harder and harder to build quality electronics. So, yeah. Ray says if you can get it to build more than a 2-car train, hopefully, I'll try and figure it out. So Jason's still here. Good. I'm glad he heard my agree on that. Artie is booked in for an operation on February 16th. We hope it goes well, Artie. I am sure you will be bantering on your Saturday show in no time. But yeah, so I was watching these videos. I posted up about 600 questions. Jason was nice enough to answer about 599 of them. So that brought me to today. And what I started doing today is remapping my layout in a way that made sense to me for operations. So if you don't know my layout, let's go back here first. So this is my layout here, and it's U-shaped with the Peninsula, right? So Peninsula here, it's U-shaped, and one of the things that one of the things, you all can read that yourself. One of the things that when I started watching Jason's video, I realized that orientation was important. What was north, what was south, what was east, what was west, because it kind of lays out a lot of your trains based on north, south, east, and west. I was like, well, my layout is a U shape. So I don't know what to do because my layout's in a U shape. And Rick, it does all depend on the size of the people. If you notice, so one person could be, you guys can't see, I'm like pointing at stuff and you guys are like, what are you pointing at? So the idea is that one operator is in here. One operator would be over in here. I can potentially then have a dispatcher or something here at my desk, or this could be somebody remotely operating the time saver, or the time saver can be remotely operated from wherever. So that's the plan. Exactly, Container Man. Roy, I will not have Roy Container Man, Mr. Foltz Rick, in here likely all at the same time, but yeah, that's the plan. And yes, and the dispatcher could be out in the park as well. The dispatcher doesn't have to be here. That is actually another, so yeah, so Split Rock, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. The other reason I'm thinking about using JMRI is that the remote operations of the time saver is through JMRI. So if I'm already using JMRI for that, maybe I should just be using JMRI for all my switch stuff, and then, you know, that'll all kind of get in there. So let's look at this again. So Split Rock was asking, what side of the island is your terminal? I would be north-south with the barge being on the west side of Manhattan. And that's exactly the plan. If you look at my little, oh, I keep forgetting, I could just do this. If you look at the little north-south little thing I've got over here on the layout, I did put, so west, basically west is where the car float is. So the car float is on the west side, which then, oh, Sparky, too funny. It's neither, it's on paper. It's all on paper. That's all it is. Yeah, exactly. I could have 5 people with 2 of them remote. Exactly. Andy, who also lives on the west side. Thomas says you still have northwest, southeast with a square on your layout JMRI panel. I have a compass. Yeah. So what I did was I unwrapped my layout, right? So here's the layout down here in the little corner. You can see it U-shaped with the peninsula here. So I kept the peninsula in the same spot, and I unwrapped this section, and I unwrapped this section. So what then happened is, now I know Riverside Transfer, West Side, this whole layout is designed around that, right? So the Riverside Transfer car float, the Riverside Transfer freight terminal are on the west side. That's where all of this wrapped around. So that's kind of how I kind of just jumped into this and figured it out. So let's get into the details a little bit more if people are curious, because I know I'm curious. So, and I realize you can't see, well, can I scroll up? No. Let's, you can kind of see it now. We'll get there eventually. I screwed my layout, says northeast to southwest. Yeah, JMRI doesn't really cover that. So he started on the west side. Is that the wrong side of the tracks? No, I'm on the right side of the tracks. So Croton Harmon Yard. It's an actual yard that apparently they're actually pulling apart, but it's a yard that is along the Hudson River, where CSX trains would come in from the Selnick yard and they would make the turn to go over to Oak Point yard. And sometimes they would transfer crews or do different things in the Croton Harmon yard. Now Croton Harmon is just a rail stop on the Metro North, but at one time it was a yard. So based on a little bit of geography, right now, and names may change. So names might change. We'll see what happens. But right now we're calling the staging yard, which is off layout theoretically, Croton Harmon Yard, and there's 6 tracks here, tracks 1 through 6. The next town down for that, for no other reason that I love the name, I love the town, and that I've got a bunch of mini prints, things that I could put in there that are like Halloween related, and I've got the PTF flat that is Halloween related. Sleepy Hollow is just down the west side along the Hudson from the Croton Harmon Yard. So I'm thinking I'm going to call this Sleepy Hollow. And in Sleepy Hollow, we are going to have Bailey quality toothpicks. And I'm thinking we're going to have the Domino's Sugar Factory. There was not a Domino's Sugar Factory in Sleepy Hollow. There was one in Yonkers, and there's one out in Brooklyn, but I saw this photo and I was just like, I just think this is a cool little thing. I'm talking to Nick at PTF Designs about making me a background flat for this, because I don't really have a lot of room back there for that. But I figure everyone loves sugar, so I'm thinking we'll put a little bit of sugar next to Bailey quality toothpicks. Lynn, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yes, Mini Prince does have a Headless Horseman as well. There will be a little bit of haunting going on in the toothpick factory near the toothpick factory. Oh, there's a Domino's in Baltimore. I didn't know that. But yeah, there is one around here. So I thought I'd throw it in there, and I just think that's a cool little area. We'll get to this chart in a second. We'll come back to that, but for now, let's just keep going past that. There are a bunch of towns as you go down from Sleepy Hollow towards the city. You are along the Hudson River, and there are several towns called like something on Hudson. So there's Hastings on Hudson, there's Ardley on Hudson, there's Croton on Hudson. So I want a little town or whatever, and I thought it would be kind of funny to name my town just on Hudson. So my little upstate New York town, which is where the circus is going to come to town and all that kind of stuff. I just thought it'd be fun to just call it on Hudson. And Heath on Hudson would be pretty funny too. Now that you're saying that, that might be good. Human on Hudson, that's pretty good too. That's pretty good too. We may have to consider those. We'll see. We'll see. So next along the Hudson, when you leave on Hudson, we're entering New York City, or at least we're entering the west side. And then on the west side, you come to the Riverside Transfer. Technically, so this is where things are going to get a little bit mixed around. But the Riverside Transfer that I'm modeling a lot of this after is actually more farther down on 69th Street. But there were at one point car floats all up and around the city. So for my fun and games, this is where it is. Steve 87th PSAP suggested I call the main yard Human City Junction. So I kind of like that. That's going to be, I guess, the area that references the human, the junction at Hudson. So there, we'll get the junction in the yard part. So there's my engine yard, there's my rip track, but the main yard itself is going to be called Human City Junction. So we got Human City Junction, we've got the Riverside Transfer Freight Terminal. Next, we come down here. This again, we're going around the corner. You can see the little actual layout down here. So we're making the turn. This actually like turns and comes down, but this is going to be the south side. I need a graveyard near my rip track. I do. Roy Eltham hates these rip tracks here. So what I really wanted was to have a pit here that I could have called Roy's Pit of Despair, but then I found out they don't have pits in rip tracks. So Hunts Point is over by Oaks Point, so it's on the east side. All of the hate's a really strong word. Roy dislikes. Hunts Point is on the other side. It's on the east side. All of my stuff is down the west side, so that's why I'm doing it. This area I'm going to call Manhattanville. At least I think I'm going to call it Manhattanville. Manhattanville was the area around the 125th Street before it was called Harlem. In Manhattanville, there was a plant called Tiemann's Paint and Dye. I thought that would kind of be an interesting industry that would, you know, I could have raw materials come in and paints and dyes go out. The Mink building is a building that was in that area that did a lot of like brewery type stuff, making beer and whatnot, but also just had a lot of other things. So that can kind of be a little bit of a generic industry building, but I'll delve into what that is a little bit more. Also up in this area was Studebaker. Used to make cars up here, and I'm tempted. I love the idea of maybe having a Studebaker factory on here, but I'm not sure yet if I am or not. Yeah, the Mink building was built as a brewery, so, but it's a big building. If I'm not mistaken, I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it seemed to imply that it had like several floors of stuff where it may have been rail served, or at least the railroad goes close enough to it that I'm going to pretend it was rail served. No, it has nothing to do with animals. That's actually the name of it. And someone was asking, I think it was maybe Happy Valley Hobbies was asking about a packing plant or a packing area. So yes, I'm going to have a commercial packing facility. Tiemann's Paint and Dye is going to need to pack stuff. Things will need to get packed out of the Mink building. Things will need to get packed, you know, from the sugar company, from Bailey Quality Toothpicks. So there'll be a lot of different things coming in and out of commercial packing as well. So it gives the opportunity for like commercial packing for them to, let's say, pick up a cardboard box and transport the cardboard box over to even just the Mink building. I mean, I know they'd probably just truck it that close, but, you know, for sake of argument, you know. Ice houses were very popular as well. It is something that I thought of including, but I think for just sort of the movement of stuff around that so far, that's kind of what I have. Ice would probably come in on the Riverside Terminal and then be brought down to the packing area, just sort of based on you know how this is. He needs a Wilson's Hobbies warehouse. So part of what I learned in making this this map was that I don't really have a lot of industries on here. So what I ended up doing was going through and figuring out the different areas on the layout for operations and how many cars I could actually get on the layout. So I started with everything that leads off the layout. So I have 6 staging tracks in the car float that all lead off the layout. The car float can hold 8 40-foot cars. The different staging tracks, you can see 9, 10, and 11 40-foot cars. So that's, you know, it's about 60 cars here, right? So if someone does the math, let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40. So that's 54, 63. I guess that's more than 60 cars. Wait, 10, 20, 30. So it's more than 60 cars, but so it's around 70 cars. I can't do math. Thank you. The guy that can count. Jeez, I am so terrible at this. So there's 71 cars there. And then if we come over to this side, on the layout, Human City Junction, the yard, can have about 25 40-foot cars. Riverside Transfer Freight Terminal can have 8. Bailey's Quality Toothpick 4. The Domino's can have 4. Rip Track can have 4, Manhattanville Packing 3, Tiemann's Paint and Dye is 4, and Mink Building is 7. John, what is that total? Yeah, I'm hoping John can add that number up too. So there's 71 here. Let's put that here, 71 40-foot cars. And then, is it 59 over here? Great. So those numbers, as far as I'm concerned, work out, what am I doing? 59 40-foot cars. So I think those numbers work out pretty well, because what that means is essentially I have, you know, an extra train in staging that can wait for things to come off or out of this area to then bring another one in. So I can take approximately, you know, 2, almost 3 trains, bring them into the main yard, bring 1 train into the Riverside Transfer Freight Terminal, break them up, send some stuff to the toothpick place, to the Domino's place, send some things to Manhattanville Packing. I can have a, you know, I can have a couple cars sitting in the Rip Track to be, you know, to be worked on and finished. Send some cars over, you know, to this area. So I've got, I think the way things are essentially going to work is 2 to 3 trains, so about, let's say, 30 cars. So 30 cars will come onto the layout. There's 59 spots on the layout for those 30 cars. I think that's probably a decent amount to move around the layout. But the next thing, oh, shit. So the next thing to do is, so Jason, when I figured out these numbers, I actually took the 40-foot cars and I rolled cars actually onto each track and then counted the tracks. So, yes, Robert, exactly. There will, I have not lost view of the circus train coming to town. There will be a circus train that comes to town, and for the circus train to come to town, a lot of the other stuff obviously is going to have to leave. Grandpa Rails, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, a lot of people having internet problems. I just heard it might be snowing here as well. Lynn, it is starting to sound like a lot of work, because now what I need to do, I now need to, you know the answer. You posted the answer, didn't you? I think we all agreed. I think everyone agreed with the answer is 59. So I'm not doing the work. Exactly. So now what I need to do is get all of this. I've got to get all my locomotives. Well, I don't know about all of them, but I've got to get all my locomotives. I've got to get, yes, it is snowing. I got to get all my locomotives. I got to get approximately, let's say, 60 pieces of rolling stock. And then all of these track sections and everything into JMRI. I only looked at, I only watched the first couple of videos. I think I got to video 4 or maybe video 5. Yeah, 42. I think I only got to video 4 or 5 yet, so I haven't gotten to the part yet about how to like actually build a train. So I don't know how to do that part yet, but I'm thinking I might start just doing all the data entry to get all of this stuff in there. Yeah, so like Diamond Exchange, you know, like all that stuff I'm thinking will be in the Mink Building. I think the Mink Building's a brewery, but I think I'm going to pretend it's got multiple floors with multiple different things in it. Heath, your track 1 in staging length needs to be 396 feet. Well, why don't I just measure what it is in inches? I can tell you what it is in inches. let's see, so track 1, which is my closest track, in reality is 32 inches. So if staging track 1 is 32 inches, how many feet is that, Jason? Is that 396 feet by any chance? David, we did not do an unboxing tonight. We just talked a lot about operations. Marty, I tried. I really wanted to get them to flip that door around. I don't know if you've seen this version of the layout, but I do have a, sorry, I'm trying to find the layer. Here we go. I do have a design with a continuous loop where the continuous loop does go around the doorway, and I'm a big fan of the Hellgate Bridge. So this would basically be the Hellgate Bridge going around the door. This also gives me really long staging tracks that'll go around. Kansas and Colorado, welcome to the party. So I need 29.37 inches, and I've got, or 29.7, and I've got 32. So I did it in 40-foot cars because that's what I run on the Time Saver, are 40-foot cars. But then I realized my cotton belt car, that because everyone needs a cotton belt blue streak car on their layout for Jason, that this is I believe a 50-foot box car, and I realized I don't want to be limited to 40-foot cars, so I am gonna end up measuring each of the tracks. So if I switch from 40-foot cars to 50-foot cars to 60-foot cars, I'll know what can I actually fit. 396 feet is 9 40-foot cars. Yep. But I've got more than that. So Hellgate Bridge is the same as the Sydney Harbor Bridge. They copied the Hellgate Bridge. I did not know that. I think the Hellgate Bridge with the little hell, or whatever it's called, section of it, and the way it's, I just think it's a great looking thing. Yeah, this is a combo door, absolutely. And yeah, 50 foot. So I want to be able to run some 50 footers. So I'll probably need to do that. You know, one day, if I do this, was I showing my screen when I showed this? Now I can't remember. One day I would love to be able to have a continuous loop, because I think it would, I'm laughing at this comment. Yes, it is higher than any of the other dimensions. It's 9 feet by 8 feet by 11 feet high. I think it'll be fun at some point to have a continuous loop, but I do think that the continuous loop is way far out in the future. And yeah, someday I may want 89-foot cars, which is very valid. So I may need the space, and yeah, there'll probably be some overtime. There probably will definitely be some overtime, but I think this is coming together. I think I've got something workable. I think unwrapping the layout and putting the layout in this sort of orientation to really sort of see, staging is, up north, the trains come down, it passes an industry on the way down into the main yard. The car float area is off on the west side. The Manhattanville is, downtown. Like, seeing this all separated out is just kind of cool. So Les is asking, how long is the arrival departure track? That's this track here. I'll measure it. I guess I'm going to need to measure a lot of these different tracks to kind of see see what everything is. So the arrival departure track, including the turnouts, is 40 inches. If I don't include any of the turnouts, if I just include inside, it's 24. So it's between 24 and 40, depending on how many of, depending on, you know, how they want to use the yard. And then I do kind of have this secondary run around here. So I've got the arrival departure. I have the second run around here. I do also have these two tracks here. Let's zoom in a little bit. I've got, so the way the yard's set up is this is theoretically the arrival departure. I do also have this smaller run around here that kind of goes off to the rip track. These two tracks, the way I figured out how many tracks, the way I counted tracks for this yard is I just counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks. So the 25 cars that I have said this yard can hold are just these 5 tracks over here. Doesn't include this track, doesn't include the engine yard, doesn't include these tracks here, doesn't include the arrival tracks. So between all of these other, I don't even know what a schnabel car is. Is it one of those cars that holds like the fuselage of an airplane? I don't remember what it is. Yeah, exactly, Happy Valley. It's already unwrapped. So these tracks here can be used as arrival departure tracks or classification tracks, because I didn't, I don't have it, or I'm not planning to have it set up where the yard just becomes so filled with cars that I can't move anything around. So I just counted these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks over here on this side, and then the rest of all these tracks are for, you know, the engines to get around, everything to, you know, move around as needed, to be able to transfer cars from the Riverside terminal, freight terminal, up into this terminal to be sorted. So I think that's the right way to do it. I could always add more cars, right? I could always add more spots. I just have to figure it out. Yeah, I'm thinking average train length. I am thinking that my average train length is actually going to be around 8 or 9 cars. And the reason I'm thinking 8 or 9 cars is because these staging numbers don't include a locomotive on the front of it. So if I want to have on staging track number 6, where I can fit 11 40-foot cars, if I want to put an SD70 Ace on the front of that, I'm going to need to remove 2 of those cars to leave that setup in staging, which means that's a 9-car train. Oh, the Schnabel cars for very heavy loads like Transformers. So it's the one that like drops down. A welded train car. A multiple axle generator car. Schnabel means beak in German. It's a beak car. There you go. Railsurf John. I'm actually curious what Mr. Railsurf John thinks about this. John's another one that has been on, what is this thing called? Discord with us. Just hanging out, working on the train stuff. But yeah, Jason, you should unwrap yours. This unwrapping mine has really helped my mind understand the operations to the point where I think I can start putting stuff in the computer. I am curious though what people think. Should I start with locomotives and cars, or should I start with just putting in all of my areas and stuff? Because I know the areas a little bit more than I know what cars I'm going to use. So I'm not sure. Mr. Andy Estep from Este Panda Project says, I've heard that anyone who needs a Chabelle car on their layout is compensating. Happy Valley Hobbies, the largest Schnabel, is it Schnabel or Schabel? Car in public roads operation, reporting mark WECX 801, was completed, come up, was completed in 2012 by Cosgrove Railcar for Westinghouse Nuclear. It is 36 axles. One thing, 9 trucks per side. Okay, so here's what you got to know about my layout is the corners. To get everything to fit in here the way I wanted, the corners are very tight. So that corner over there is an 11-inch radius, and this corner over here is a 9.75. Yes, in N scale, you can pull an 83-inch passenger car around a 9.75-inch turn, and if it's weighted properly, it'll make it. But I think for the most part on this layout, I'm going to be running a lot of 4-axle stuff, and that's why, and that's where this GP30 comes in, is to get more 4-axle locomotives on here. Everyone's welcome to lurk. Everyone's welcome to lurk. And a RivalTrack needs to be able to handle a train without blocking any turnouts to be able to break it up. Yeah, and what I'm thinking is that this track here, if you can see which one's highlighted right now, this one here is going to be probably a pretty common place to pull a bigger train into before you break it down, because that is that's about 28 inches, so that comes closer to matching. And I know, like, I've had to make a huge amount of compromises to get this much track into this amount of space, and one of those compromises is just knowing that I'm gonna have to foul the main. I'm gonna foul or block turnouts or points along the way. But with only 2 operators, I think that's gonna work out okay. Schnabel. Those curves need greasers. Iowa Scaled Engineering, who, if you want a motorman from Iowa Scale Engineering, use the code HUMAN, $25 off. But Iowa Scaled Engineering is making a sound module that is a wheel squeal module. And it's got sensors that can sense motion somehow. And I really, really want the wheel squeal module for especially this 11-inch one over here on the right side. So John just got here. Since John's here, we'll start over from the beginning, so anybody that missed anything can catch up. But anybody have any questions on what I'm up to or what's going on? We're definitely going to be talking more about this stuff over on Discord, I'm sure, over the next couple of days, as you know, as I work on this stuff, as we work through more things, as more problems come up. So if you want to, talk offline, that's a good place to hang out. But I think I'm in a good spot. I do need to do a lot of data entry. People were kind of, if you don't know my room, all this is N scale, right? So theoretically, for it to run on the layout, it's all going to get in JMRI eventually. Yes, so I had, Jason, I had everything in AnyRail to begin with. This, you know, the original layout was done in AnyRail right here. So all I did, and it was, you know, it's simple for me because I just noticed I'm covering up some of the layout. It's simple for me because I only really have two curves that I had to unwrap. But yeah, I just disconnected the curves on the corner, and I just then straightened everything out, and then obviously reset the background, you know, size so that it was the same same size as I needed it. So that's what I've been up to. What have you guys been up to? What have you guys been doing? Next week, Ray Boble's channel for the holiday show. Tuesday night, not 100% what I'm going to be doing Tuesday night. I may be doing a little bit of data entry for JMRI. So if you have JMRI questions and or you know something about JMRI, might be great to come hang out, and we can hopefully all learn something about entering stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be a week. It's already been a week, but things have been good, you know? Can't complain. The week's been good. I did first operating experience video. I was, you know, just last week did my first ops NMRA achievement program. I was on the Twin Cities Division podcast, been working on the Peninsula, both getting the car float together, working on my little safety device for the thing there, getting a bunch of green paint, which has been great. Oh yeah, Jason, post the link for that. I almost forgot. When do people have to have the guesses in for that? Marty, yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great to have you. Yeah, let's do that. Let's plan on that. So Tuesday night we'll talk about JMRI, or not just talk about, but we'll try and enter some stuff into JMRI. So Rick says he learned taking decals off and scale cars is hard work. Can't wait to put them back on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can use a spreadsheet as well. We'll see. I don't know what we're gonna do. Tim's about to get his road test. If you're in upstate New York, stay off the roads. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Yep, we talked about that already. Okay, so December 17th at 11:59 and 59 seconds, you need to have your entries in, and somebody will post up the link in a second. I don't see the link coming up yet. Marty, yes, Springfield's going to be my next train show. Myself and Andy Estep leave New York City via Amtrak. We go up to the Springfield Amtrak station, which is so much fun to be taking a train to a train show. It's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll be there. Marty, are you coming as are you coming to represent the NMRA as a part of that group? I know if you come to the Springfield show, the Women in Model Railroading is having a like a little event up there. They're gonna have some cookies and stuff. So if you're coming to Amherst, you can get some cookies. I know that much. Works interfering with the live show. I know that happens. Michael McCarville makes a good point from McCarville Studios. Ops show how well a layout was designed. Yeah, I feel a little bit like I've gotten lucky. you know, I haven't run stuff yet, so I don't know how well things are going to work, but just in kind of like working on my plan, it's coming together. It's coming together. So if you haven't yet, here it is. Go go to that link. You need 15 out of 25 correct. The question, a little far to go for cookies. Yeah. You need 15 out of 25 correct. The way it's split up is there's questions about each of the 5 Sidetrack Sunday members. Yes, no do-overs. So take your time. You only get one entry. So, oh, awesome! Marty's gonna come. Marty, are you bringing the desk? That's all I really want to know. I want to see you behind the desk at Springfield. So, Jason the Train Freak, who's been working on his layout longer than I have, is still tweaking his track plan. None of my track is glued down. All my track is just nailed in. The reason I did that and the reason it's all just nailed in is so that I can move things as I go. I'm not going to do any ground cover on the layout until... not going to do any ground cover on the layout until I know that everything is operating as I want. Cameron from Good Boost 121 wants to know if I'll get a cookie from Michelle and mail it to you. I will. I will. There we go. Marty says he'll have the desk. He plans on doing a couple live streams. Awesome. Yeah, it'd be fun. We should do like a... We should do a live stream from Springfield where we see how many live streamers we can get concurrently doing live streams all at the same time. Cascade Southern Model Train says I need to sell my Woodland Scenics layout before I can build my new layout. Which is that a, I forget what it's called. Not Scenic Express, Scenic Ridge. Do you have the Scenic Ridge layout? We'll be leaving Newark for Australia on the 2nd of February. Oh, so you're staying for a little while. If you're leaving from Newark, Marty, and you want to swing by, I don't know how you're getting from Springfield to Newark, but if you take the train from Springfield, you'll pass my house along the way. And if you have time, you should sneak in here, come visit, and then head over to Newark Airport. So we'll hit me up or whatever. We can talk about that. Maybe figure something out about that. So I've been on for about an hour and a half. I am going. Oh, John, you've got to. RailSurf John, you've got to come to Springfield. Come on. Anyway, what was I saying? I've been on for an hour and a half. I'm going to go jump on Discord just so I can sit down, kick back, relax a little bit. I'm going to start typing some stuff into JMRI so that on Tuesday, I've got a little bit started and I've got some questions and answers. Yeah, so Lynn was at the Newark airport and he messages me about an hour before he's leaving. He doesn't warn me that he's coming. He just tells me when he's there. See, you see how Marty's doing it, Lynn? Marty's telling me that he's going to do it before. So Marty, if you're traveling by train to and from Springfield, let me know. We should definitely meet up somewhere along the way. And if you have time to do it when you're passing through New York City, I'd love to have you come up here and hang out for a little bit. But I'm going to head out. Come join us over on Discord if you want. Go back and rewatch the video and have a great week. I'll see everybody Tuesday. I'll see everybody next Sunday as well. Go answer a bunch of questions. And from the city that never sleeps, farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.